welcome to my channel. Today I'd love to show you how to paint this lovely sailboat with this beautiful sky inspired by the artist Vincent Van Gogh. First thing that you're going to need is something to paint on. I'm going to use an artist panel, but you can use a paper or whatever you want. I'm going to use a round brush and a palette knife, and that's it for the tools I'm going to use. And then I'm going to use heavy body acrylic paint. If you don't have heavy body, you can have this flexible modeling paste that you can mix in with your paints and it'll make it nice and chunky. I just want to show you here really quick the texture of it. And if you mix this into your soft body paint, then it's going to make it stand up and it will not change the color or anything like that. It's a medium, so it mixes right in and just changes the consistency. For your colors, you just need some primary colors. I'm using magenta, my cadmium red, Phlathocyane blue, green shade, and cadmium yellow, and a black, and you want a white. But you don't have to have these exact colors. You can experiment with your colors, and if you're using other paints, you can just use your primary colors in those other paints. I am going to be mixing my colors to get a few other colors here. So I'm going to take my red and mix it with my magenta and my blue, and my blue and my yellow, and my yellow and my red. Okay, and then I'll get those in-between colors for all of those. So I'll get a orange, and then I'm going to add some white to my bluish green color here so I can have a lighter blue that's kind of a teal color. And then I'm going to add some white to my purple color so that I can have kind of a different type of purple. Then I'm adding white to my magenta to get a pink. For this first step, we're going to sketch the composition. I've just grabbed my round brush and put some black paint on it with some water. And I'm going to make the shape of a sailboat. So I've got the triangle shape on top and then rounded at the bottom. I'm going to split my triangle into two. This is kind of the old-fashioned sailboats that were back in the day of Van Gogh, so that's where I'm going with this type of sailboat. And then I'm putting an island back there, and that island's just on the right, and it tapers off until it reaches the middle. Then I'm going to add some swirlies in the sky, and this is just going to be a guideline, so you don't need to copy exactly where I'm putting my swirlies. Just kind of go with the flow and put it wherever you want. This will make your painting look different than mine and just fun and playful. So I'm going to start by sharing with you the brush strokes. Now notice I'm making these short brush strokes that I'm not mixing with the stroke next to it, okay? So I have to use a different color to make the stroke next to it stand out, okay? So I need to have a lighter or a darker color for those lines to stand out. Now you can make your lines as short or as long as you want, okay? And I'm making mine chunky, which means I'm using a lot of paint on my brush and leaving the texture there. If you want, you can use your palette knife. Now the palette knife, you're gonna be able to get those long strokes as well. It's just more difficult to control the brush stroke, okay? So I'm going to start out with my round brush for this, and then I'll move on to my palette knife. Now for this third step, we're going to fill in the boat color with black. And I've mixed some dark blue with my black. And I'm just going to fill it in like it's a silhouette. Okay, so I want to have a little bit in between that boat, a line there so that the sun can shine through. And then I want to paint my island back there black. Now notice I'm using the same type of brush stroke and I'm leaving it chunky. Right, so for this, you want to go around your objects, so the sailboat and the island, and you want to use that same brush stroke, long or short, depends on how you feel. And I'm going to use the orange and the yellow near the horizon line. Okay, so I'm starting with the orange just to see where I want it, how far I want to go up with it. Okay, and I'm using a lot of paint on my brush to get that chunkiness. Okay, and then I move to a different color, and I'm moving to my red now. And you can move to the colors that you want based on how you feel, but I'm just kind of getting an idea of where I want the sunset to be, okay? And I wanted this to be a sunset slash night sky just because I felt very colorful today. So notice how I leave gaps between the colors and it's going to show white in between, but we're going to be layering a lot, and so that white will totally disappear with the layers. So notice how I go from light around those swirls to the dark black, okay? And the dark black is just going to be up there at the top for that night sky. And to get the shape of the swirls, you have to have some kind of contrast to the darkness. So I can follow that line with the light color and do it that way. I can mix the blue colors and the purple colors with my orange and my red. Just make sure that you're just doing the strokes so that you're not actually mixing the colors together. Okay, so underneath the boat, or beside the boat, I guess, where the sun can't reach the water because the boat's there, you want to have a shadow. So I'm just adding in the cool colors for the shadow, the same colors that were in the sky. And then I'm going back and I'm adding the yellow into my sky because I'm ready for this yellow and I'm ready for the white now. And I really want it to be glowing. So this is totally up to you. You could make yours into a complete night sky if you want. So I'm just following right there along the horizon with the yellow, and then I'm going to add some light pink in there. And then as it gets closer to the blue, I'm going to add in some purple. So it goes light yellow, yellow, pink, orange, red, and it goes purple, blue, and then black, okay? So wherever the light hits you next to the boat, you want to have that yellow color that's from the sunset. And then it's going to switch over again, just like the sky, and go to pink and then to the darker blue. So I just wanted to show you that. And where you place your colors is totally dependent on you as well. Like, you can create yours however you wish. Okay? So this is a great time to be creative. And this is just the first layer anyways. And in this first layer, you want to get all your brush strokes down, just a nice layer of it, but you can have some white showing. And then we're going to let that dry, and then we'll go over the top with even more texture and some more colors. So try to pay attention to the flow in your sky. Does it flow the way that you want? Are the swirlies where you want them to be? Because you can change it at any point. You can change what colors you have in there. You can bring some of the dark down if you want, or bring that light up. This is the time to do that. Once your underlayer is dry, you can start overlapping colors. And I'm going to get out my palette knife for this because I just want it to be really chunky and textured, and the palette knife helps me get a little bit more paint down. So I'm just along that horizon. I'm making sure that it's nice and light, so it's not white completely, but it is a very, very light yellow. And that horizon line I will fix later to make it nice and straight across. So now I'm layering everything and trying to get rid of any white marks that can be seen, okay? So you don't want to be able to see your paper underneath, or your panel, or your canvas, okay? So I'm going around my stars, it could be stars, and I'm adding in some more colors. And that's all I'm doing for this step. Same brush strokes, just playing with my colors a little bit more and adding in some more colors, layering on top. And I'm going to be layering and layering until it's all covered. So even my boat needs another layer of black on it. And I'm using that same brush stroke just because I don't want it to be smooth against everything else. It'll look a little weird that way. So you want to have those brush strokes throughout your painting, but if you want to make your boat smooth, that's fine. I just prefer having the chunkiness. And then right in between where the sunset should be behind the boat, I want to make sure I have those colors correct. Okay, so for this step, it's your final touches. This is where you can go in and start adding your personal preferences. So I'm going to make my water a little bit more on the side where it looks a little more like water. I can't really say it's realistic because it's not at all. Van Gogh's very unrealistic style of painting, which is very fun, and I love it. So in this step, I'm just kind of changing the horizon line. I'm changing some of the colors. I'm maybe adding some more contrast where I want some more contrast, like right over there in the sky, and changing the flow of some of the sky lines. So have fun with this step. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified whenever I make a new video. And you can sign up for my weekly art lessons right over here. And they're going to teach you how to become a better artist and all those things that you need to know to understand how art is made and what made Van Gogh so great. And then also you can watch some more of my videos. Thank you for painting. I'm proud of you for finishing this. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.